Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to let Amy introduce herself first, and then I'm going to give a brief voting update.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. Hi, everyone. I am Amy Marie Granger Welch. I am the Deputy Director for Families for Strong Public Schools. We are a nonpartisan statewide grassroots organization dedicated to supporting and strengthening Florida's public schools. And we work to empower parents, students, educators, and community members with information, resources, and opportunities to engage in the decisions that shape public education. And we believe informed voters and engaged communities are essential to strong public schools. And we're really proud to partner with the League of Women Voters, not just here in Hillsborough, but statewide, to help provide, and Pasco, sorry. I always forget that, Teresa, to add in the Pasco, to help provide this forum so voters can hear directly from those candidates. So thank you for being here today. And Teresa, you're up.
Okay, we are going to share this recording widely through our social media and to our members. So we just want to make sure that everybody has the important election information for the August 18th election. So we want to make sure everybody knows that the August 18th election is not just a primary for partisan elections. Everyone can vote, including those who are registered, no party affiliated, especially in our school board and judicial races, which are nonpartisan. But we do have some races across the state this year that are universal. So if we have a race where there's only two candidates in one party, all voters can vote for those as well. So it's important, just as important to come out for the August 18th election as it is for the election in November. And the deadline to register for August 18th is July 20th, and you can check your registration online at the Pasco Supervisor of Elections email address that you see there, or you can update it by mail, or you can call the Supervisor of Elections and check it right then. And if you didn't vote in 2024 and you're marked as an inactive voter, it doesn't matter. You're still a registered voter and you're still eligible to vote. And if you have moved, but you're moved from somewhere else in Florida and you were a registered voter, you're still a registered voter in Florida, and you can change your address at any time, including on election day at your polling place. And there are several different ways to vote. You can vote by mail, and the deadline to request a vote by mail ballot for the August 18th election is August 6th, which is 12 days before the election. You can drop off your vote by mail ballot at any early voting site during early voting, but on election day, you can only drop it off at the Supervisor of Elections offices. It must be in the office by 7 p.m. on August 18th. So it's easier to mail it early or drop it off at an early voting site to make sure it's counted. And early voting in Pasco County this year is August 8th to the 16th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's always easier to vote with early voting if you want to go with your family or with a group of friends. And if you don't vote earlier by mail, election day voting will be from 7 to 7 on August 18th. And now we're going to get started with our Pasco County School Board Candidate Forum for District 1. The election will be on August 18th. And I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to ask each of the candidates to introduce themselves with a 2-minute intro. And we will start with Kimberly Coward.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity and particularly the information on getting out the vote. I am Kimberly Coward. I am a practicing attorney. I'm a veteran. I'm a child advocate and a former guidance counselor of Pasco County Schools. Lately, I've been, it's been said I've been a daughter of Pasco, but I would say a granddaughter. And I've been in Pasco for generations. From Head Start to graduation through Pasco County Schools, where I graduated as a salutatorian. So very early, though, even from elementary school, I knew that I wanted to not only help those that were less fortunate, but for children. Like, for example, I in elementary school took on the responsibility to help a family member, and now 40 plus years later, I'm still doing it, but in a more official capacity. But I went on to University of Florida, where I got a bachelor's in psychology, and then I moved on to a graduate degree in counselor education. Well, actually, a master of education and a specialist in education. And the goal was, if I could just have one child, then it would just make a 5% difference in a child's life. It would the impact would really grow across that lifetime. But once I got into the schools and I realized as a guidance counselor, there were a lot of kids with a lot of problems, I decided to go to law school. And that was around 1998. Not only did I decide to go to law school, I decided to impact policy at home. So I went to law school at the University of Florida. Before law school, I was a guidance counselor at in Pasco County Schools. And then after law school, I was also a guidance counselor. And so, but I knew then that I would come home and impact policy. I had the opportunity to do so in the sixth largest district in the nation. Oh, that's it? Wow. Well, let me just say, well, I'm Pasco born, Pasco raised, and Pasco ready.
Thank you, Kimberly. We're doing 2-minute intros here, Brian, but Christopher's gonna go next and then it'll be your turn. So, Christopher?
I was going to ask if you could
Can
wait.
you,
I'm almost home if I can do mine. And I just left the VA, so it's just hard to if I can catch up like when I get home. I'm just trying to listen for now.
that'd be
That's okay.
perfect. That'd be perfect. Thanks, Brian. Go ahead, Christopher.
Good morning, and thank you all for having me and the invitation and being here. I'm Christopher King, candidate for Pasco County School Board District 1, and I'm honored just to be in the space with you guys. Truly, it's a good Tuesday. I am a 10-year Marine Corps combat veteran. I've served in Iraq, Iran, and Afghanistan. I did most of my tours while attached to the 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force. And I am the CEO and founder of the Gentlemen's Course, which is a local nonprofit here in Pasco County educating students on etiquette, human rights, and human trafficking prevention, where I've partnered with the Pasco County Sheriff's Office and local law enforcement agencies for the last decade, educating and mentoring our students in District 1 in Pasco County Schools, as well as Hillsborough, Polk County, Pinellas, Hernando County, and Manatee County Schools. We have adopted curriculum in Polk County School District, as well as here in Pasco County. We have a program called Polished and Proud at Zephyr Hills High School. I am a husband, a father of 2. My son is 14, who attends Kirkland Ranch School of Innovation. My daughter's 13, will be a freshman at Pasco High School. My wife is an alumni of Pasco High School, and we met in college. So I'm been in Pasco since 2013 is when I officially moved here. Started visiting Pasco County in 2005. So I'm not born in Pasco, but I've only worked and lived and thrived in Pasco County consistently since 2013. And I've been here doing that work ever since. So already doing the work here in Pasco County Schools, working with teachers, principals, providing resources, advocating for students here in Pasco County Schools since I've arrived here. And I truly love being here in Pasco County Schools. And I think being able to be at the table to further continue my advocacy for those students, those teachers in the community that we serve, it's just a easier way to be able to make sure that communication line is there for our parents, as well as understanding governance and policy. I sit on the board for GTE Financial Bank as well, and that gives me my governance, compliance, and regulations background. Serving as the chairman for the supervisory committee for a multi-billion-dollar financial institution. So that's me, Christopher King, and running for District 1 School Board here in Pasco County. Good morning and good afternoon.
Thank you. So Brian's going to catch up after he gets home. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into questions, and Amy will start with the first one and tell you who will answer first.
All right, you got the timer?
Got it.
Can everybody see the timer? It should be in the left-hand corner or somewhere on your screen. You'll have a minute to answer each question. I know that's kind of short, but we have 3, so we want to make sure we're fair to everybody. And then when you hear the music, that's when the time's up. So we have 9 questions, so we're going to try to scoot through them. I will start with Kimberly, and then we'll just go back and forth until Brian can jump in, and then we'll rotate him in. I'm going to do my best to make sure everybody goes in order, but I'll do my best. I got a piece of paper right over here. So, Kimberly, the Florida Constitution legally binds the state to make adequate provision for a uniform, efficient, safe, secure, and high-quality system of free public schools. What is the role of the school board in ensuring this? And where do you think Pasco County schools do this well? And where is there room for improvement?
So that was 3 questions. Could you? Oh, my timer started. Um, well,
You
Pasco
want me
County,
to, did you want her
yes,
to
please.
repeat it?
Yes,
You want me to repeat
can
it?
I
I
reclaim
can
my time?
absolutely repeat it.
We're flexible.
We're very flexible. All
Okay,
right.
let's write this down. Uh-huh.
All right. The Florida Constitution legally binds the state to make adequate provision for a uniform, efficient, safe, secure, and high quality system of free public schools. What is the role of the school board in ensuring this? And where do you think Pasco County schools do this well? And where is there room for improvement?
Okay. So the Florida law says that the school board shall operate and control and supervise public schools. And that is what is the role, and that is the role of it. And so the question about whether it's been done well goes um, to the fact of whether all students are having access and opportunity, and that schools are adequately funded. And so, during these times, the debate occurs about whether sure, what is and how the district can be do it better. uh, I believe that we must be student focused, and all decision must be rooted in student outcomes, and that's for the majority of the students in Pasco County schools. And so to do so, we have to make our decisions, and we have to make policy consistent with improving student outcomes. That's a quick minute. Okay.
And a big question. We get it.
And a big
Thank
question.
you.
For sure. All right, Chris. Do you want me to read it again, or are you good? You're muted. You're muted,
I,
sir. You're muted still.
I'm trying to, it's not letting me unmute him. There. Perfect.
Oh,
Yep.
there you go.
We found it at the same time.
There you go.
No, you're good. I heard the question. The question is a very great question. And while the school board does not manage the day-to-day operations of schools, it plays a critical governance role by setting up policy um, and approving budgets, providing oversight, right? Um, Hiring and evaluating the superintendent where applicable, but ensuring that accountability, all these things matter, making decisions that keep students achieving. Um, Safety and physical responsibility at the center of every action. It all plays a vital role in the ecosystem of what we do in our Pasco County schools. So I believe that Pasco County schools, they have demonstrated strengths in several areas, right? The district has invested in school safety. It's also in several areas such as expanding career and technical and educational opportunities, and maintaining a strong partnership with local businesses and colleges. Many of our schools continue to earn high academic ratings. We also have many dedicated teachers, support staff, and principals who work along tirelessly for students every day. So at the same time, there's room for improvement, but we must continue raising academic achievement across all platforms. That was my minute. I
Chris,
think
you're
at
up
that time it did
first
go off.
this time. Yeah, the music's you should hear the music, hopefully. All right, number 2, Chris, you're up first. How should districts address disparities in resources or opportunities between schools?
So you said, how should
School districts address disparities in resources or opportunities between schools?
It's hard. It's not a hard question to answer. Culture varies from campus to campus. And we know that culture exists between teachers, students, parents, and the communities that they serve. So when you talk about disparities, it takes presence to fix that. We have to be able to adjust and engage with each school independently, and understanding that ecosystem and that model that it works with in the culture of its community that it serves. Each kid's social economic background is different. So the disparities from one school to the next are not going to be the same. Even if they live in the same city, such as Zephyr Hills, they're not the same as Dade City, right? And La Florida, which is one of our most suffering schools in District 1. So to understand how to fix that problem is only fix it by presence, advocacy, intentional advocacy, being there on the ground, and understanding how the staff that you have in place wants to fix those problems and supporting them in doing so. So supporting the principals, supporting the staff and the social workers, the behavior specialists, and all the staff that's on campus has been able to support them with resources.
Would you like me to
Thank
read
you.
the question, Kimberly?
Probably always gonna want you to repeat it because as I get older, yes, please repeat it.
Yeah. How should districts address disparities in resources or opportunities between schools?
Okay, so access and opportunity are key. Oh, sorry, I hear someone. Access and opportunity are key when in this in public education. And so we have disparities across schools, across students, and right now, even, with the, enrollment, the over enrollment or the declining enrollment across East and West. So, but all our decisions, we must be guided by data, grounded in student outcomes and student achievement, and informed by the community, by families. And so it is key. If we want our children to reach their highest potential, that requires high quality education, and that means the classroom, that means the teachers, and that even means transportation. It's about access and opportunity. It's real. And so, in order for us to address that as a district, we must remain student focused.
Right. Number 3. Kimberly, you get to go first this time. All right. Number 3, how should districts address concerns about teacher recruitment and retention in Florida?
Well, the concerns should be addressed by doing something about it. I often say we can't talk about student achievement and student outcomes without talking about being able to hire and keep high quality teachers. That means those who are new and those who have been there, those are veteran teachers. So we have to, of course, look at funding and the budget. Of course, right now we have the what's it called, the referendum. I was trying to say the proper name for it, but we got to support our teachers through that. But it extends past the past the classroom. I think we need to consider stronger induction and teacher support and mentors. But that's just not about classroom instruction. That's how about to keep our teachers safe, keep our teachers heard, and keep our teachers at Pasco County Schools.
All right, Chris, you are up. Would you like me to reread?
No, we're good.
All right.
Teacher recruitment and retention, one of the most important issues facing public education here in Florida. And while competitive salaries matter, we have to make sure I go back to that culture question again. How do we retain great educators? It requires a broader commitment to creating an environment where teachers feel respected, right? There are a lot of kids in schools that don't respect our teachers, and it creates a bad culture for them. So it's more than just the money. Money is very important, but we got to make sure that they feel respected, they feel supported, and they feel empowered to succeed from the teachers as well as our students. We want to make sure that they have a very fun environment being on campus. So as a school board member, I would advocate for that and partnering with our community leaders, such as Lake Michigan Credit Union, for example. They offer tuitions for resources in the classroom for our teachers. A lot of our teachers spend money out of their own pocket to help take care of our kids. And that's why it's important to actually be a parent on the school board or have kids in the district, because you don't understand what that complexity is like if you don't have kids in the schools. You miss a whole lens from that perspective.
Oh, Brian, are you ready to join us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No worries.
My-
Teresa, do we want to do a 2-minute intro and then go back to questions, or do
Perfect.
questions?
Yeah,
Just-
I think we
okay.
should go ahead and let Brian jump in and give his intro, and then
Awesome. We'll
we'll
come
go.
back to questions.
Sorry, let me get it off my phone here. So 2-minute intro. My name's Brian Paris. I'm a born and raised Pasco County native. My mom's a graduate of class of 69 from Gulf High School. I'm class of 96 Ridgewood. third generation military veteran. I'm a former coach, player, sports athlete here, coached, and then after we won the state title in California, I retired from coaching, and then I got into refereeing. I do that now. I was substitute teaching the last 3 years until recently. So I've been volunteering a lot last several years. I'm a Big Brother from Big Brothers Big Sisters program of America. My dad did a lot of stuff for the Special Olympics back in the day around here in this community, and I do things here and there as well. I love the Special Olympics. I'm also a volunteer for an anti-human trafficking organization called Say Love Freedom. And yeah, I'm just a person. I'm a servant of God. I just try to do the best. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. And I just try to do what's right all the time. I screw up sometimes, though. I'm a man and human, so I fall short of that. But that's kind of who I am as a person. I say what's on my mind. I speak what I believe, and I don't hide from it or nothing. So sometimes not everybody likes it, but you just got to be honest, transparent, and then have integrity.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Okay. So Amy's asking the questions, and I think we're on question 4.
Okay.
We are on question 4, and Brian, we'll just start with you. Chris, you'll be next, and then Kimberly, and then we'll rotate back through.
Hey, by the way, hey, Chris and Kimberly. Hello. Nice to meet you, Kimberly.
All right.
Sorry.
No worries. Brian, you are up. You will have 1 minute, and the timer will go off hopefully you can see that on your screen, but you'll hear the music when your time is up. And
Where's the timer at?
I
it will
haven't
pop
started
up.
it yet, but you'll see
Oh,
it.
Yes, you should see it. All right. So question number 4, how would you prioritize spending decisions during tight budget years?
Oh, I love this. Well, I would definitely not, it's not cuts across the board. It's cuts where we need. Now, a lot of the programs that are helping students, I would not touch at all. And a lot of time, I've been hearing from a lot of special needs teachers as well that their funding got cut. So we have to look in that to support them and give them a little more funding. And I think you can make cuts where, like district, for instance, if there's a lot of jobs that are not like they're given to you because of someone you know or this and that, then maybe let's get rid of that and just cut different programs that are wasteful and stuff like that. So I really would like to do a full forensic audit, independent, to see where our money is being used, and if there's waste in certain areas, then that way we can actually have that discussion with other board members, get it corrected, and then redirect the funds to where it needs to be. But we need whatever helps the students and the teachers. That's where we need to keep our focus and make sure we don't cut any of those programs at all.
All right. Chris, do you need me to reread? Just let me know if you guys need me to reread when we're at the second and third. I'm happy to do it. Chris, you're up. You're muted. There.
I'm in 2 Zooms right now. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Still got to work. All right. So no, the question doesn't need to be repeated for me. No, thank you. So difficulty budget years, it takes a lot when it comes to crunching the numbers, right? Every spending decision should be guided truly not only just by the data, but understanding what benefits our students, what benefits that learning curve, right? What safety measures need to be taken? How does each classroom become successful independently? Because classroom to classroom, that culture is going to be different from teacher to teacher and child to child, right? So before considering reductions or how it affects those students, I would carefully examine administrative expenses, seeing how they're actually spending their money, and make sure that it's being spent wisely, right? Procurement prices, everything that we spend. They spent $7 last year on tennis balls when I know we could have got them for 3. I mean, every little bit matters when it comes to budgeting and how we spend in our schools. And that is a campus to campus situation. So understanding an ecosystem of all of our schools will matter the most for an overall transparent and accountable budget.
All right. Kimberly.
Thank you. And I don't need a question, so thank you. So our prioritize funding, again, it will be guided by data, but it will always be grounded in student success, and we must keep the community and families a part of it and informed. And so, similar to Brian, I, students must come first. So if there's any budget decisions that impact classrooms or underfund classrooms or somehow impact student outcomes, I would be opposed to those. But I will look at those things. We would have to look at duplication and underused the programs, those that do not directly support student success. So it's not just about what they're doing at the individual schools. As a board member, it is incumbent upon us to make sure each school has what they need to succeed. And that's not always going to look the same, across the board.
All right.
Hey, can I
Chris, you're
ask what
first.
that music is from? It sounds like Star Trek or
I think it came with the system.
sorry, I was just curious.
It
I
came
know.
with Zoom. Yeah, I don't know. It's called Time's Up. That's all I know. Chris, you are up first for question number 5. What is your vision for the future of public education in Florida as education options continue to expand? Does not like him today with that unmute button. Can you help him out, Teresa? I don't know if you can help him. I can unmute him. There we go.
It's not letting me do it. Did it work for you?
Mm-mm. Oddly, it's not. Does not like it.
Let me see. I only have the one option. It's not working. All right, let's maybe come back to Chris. He'll figure it out.
See if I can unmute there. No, I can't. I'm going to make you a co-host, Chris, and see if that works for you. Is that better for you? Are you able to unmute it now? All right. Kim, you're up. So what is your vision for the future of public education in Florida as education options continue to expand?
My vision for Florida's public schools is to remain strong, and and should be a viable options for all families. And so choices do continue to expand. However, I would like to see a situation where parental choice is here. But like although I, didn't bear children, I have raised many children, some in Pasco County Schools. And so I know how important it is to be able to make the decision that's the best interest of your child. So, we can say as board members this or that, but when it comes down to choosing the schools that's best for your child, that decision is going to be in that child's best interest. But I want to see public schools to be a viable choice. So we have to continue to improve student outcomes, support our teachers, create safe schools, and be sure to include the community in these decisions.
Christopher, is that better?
Yeah,
Got
it
it.
actually
Got it.
everybody was frozen, so it actually
Yeah.
kicked me out, and I had to log back in. It's crazy.
Okay.
Okay,
So
great. I'll
we're
wait for
gonna.
the timer to pop up.
Okay.
Do you need me
You
to
have the
repeat?
question?
We're good.
Okay.
Okay. Go.
Okay, great. So my vision for Florida schools is to remain, also, like I said, the first choice. I think that's going to be a consensus today. We have a lot of options for the school systems, but we want be as well.
We're losing you, Chris. It's not just me, right?
Hands down.
No, he's.
Is it freezing on me again?
Yeah.
At times, yeah.
It, okay, well, I'll try again later. As education options continue to expand public, but we've got to make sure public schools is the first priority. That's my vision, to make sure our public school system not only has the resources that it needs, but it also has the infrastructure that can support it as well. So the communities need to be reinvested to on the community side, our community organizations, our partnerships, our not bringing religion to the schools, but our churches, they are part of that community as well. I don't know if I get a little extra time because it was chopping me up, but I stopped.
Thank you, Chris. Technology, right? Brian, would you like me to reread?
Yes, please, just to make
Yeah,
sure. I mean, I'm sure I
absolutely.
got it, but just to hear it.
Sure. What is your vision for the future of public education in Florida as education options continue to expand?
Perfect. Well, my plan is actually community based. It came straight from parents, teachers, students, and taxpayers. It's very community trades. We need to bring back trades. I think we need more trade schools in the system, whether it's welders, electrical, and I have the small business owners train these kids, get their apprenticeships done in high school, so that way when they graduate, they can go straight into a job and hopefully teach them entrepreneurship so they can maybe have their own company down the road and they can buy houses by the time they're 25. So also we need to go back to the basics, common sense and critical thinking. And with through reading, writing, arithmetic, basic life skills, financial fundamentals. Also want to teach kids how to grow and process their own food. I have local farmers ready to go to feed the children in schools, fresh, healthy food, and also an education program where they can barter and learn how to barter and trade and grow and process their own food. Safety and teachers' future. We need to make the teachers' permanent salary through the budget. We got to stop kicking the can down the road and take care of our teachers and all that stuff. Sorry, I know I'm done.
Thank you. All right, Kim, you're up. What role should school boards play in advocating for state funding or legislative changes?
Well, school boards are kind of in a quasi, school boards are kind of in a quasi legislative position. So school boards must follow the law. I just lost some of the question there, so I'm just going to flow with it. And so we must, considering funding, we have the one, we have from federal, and we also, have the state funding, and then and then we have the local funding. And so I think it's incumbent upon the school district to ensure that, we have what we need, well, the students, the families, and the teachers and the staff, bus drivers included, have what we need to do the job that's necessary. I'm sorry, I lost this part of the question, so I apologize for it, but I think it's incumbent upon the district, given that we have to operate and control and supervise public schools, that we do that in the best fiscally responsible as we can be.
Hey, Brian, you're up.
Yes,
Do you want
please read the question. Thank you.
Sure. What role should school boards play in advocating for state funding or legislative changes?
Oh, well, that's where we have relationship building through state representatives, Congress. I know Congress and federal is DC, but it's about relationship, asking what the schools need and what we can advocate for them. Writing grants. I think so many grants are available for safety and the different things that we've passed through state law recently. So we can do a lot of grant writing and get funding that way. That way it doesn't affect the taxpayers as much. And it's really just bringing in the community, having like public privatize, like, so with the planting the fruit trees and gardens, you can actually privatize that in an aspect of, hey, maybe you want to put this in the memory of so-and-so and that, but it's in the school system. The kids get it, the teachers, and you're not using any taxpayer money doing it. And that's really where it's at, is about community advocating through Tallahassee and DC and wherever you can. And that's what we are. We're the voice of the people. We're elected to be in the seat, and we need to do what it takes to get the funding for our district.
Awesome. Chris, you're up.
Great, thank you. So the role we play, school board members. So we have a true responsibility to advocating for our policies and our funding that best serves our students, our educators, and our taxpayers. Just to be fully transparent. So I'll work collaboratively with our legislators, with our community delegations, and our state education leaders to make sure that our fellow school board members across the whole state can understand that process of how to advocate for adequate, predictable, and sustainable funding for public education. It's not just a fight for one; it's a fight for everybody. Right? We're all asking for the same dollars from the same people. A lot of people ensuring our actually supported competitive staff compensation. Those budgets matter and being able to analyze those numbers. So addressing those mental health concerns as well. It's stressful when you're dealing with no money and have to educate people that don't value the dollar. It matters a lot. So we got to make sure that we believe that these decisions should be informed by involving our parents, our teachers, our communities, and our families. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Brian, you are up first this time. Question number 7, what principles would guide your communication with the public regarding school district referendum measures, and how would you ensure voters have the information they need to make informed decisions?
Some of that in the middle cut out. I didn't hear all that quite. I heard
Yeah.
the integrity
Yeah.
part and then it faded in the middle. Sorry.
I can repeat it, no problem. What principles would guide your communication with the public regarding school district referendum measures, and how would you ensure voters have the information they need to make informed decisions?
Well, I'm a big transparency guy. My actions and words have been that. I haven't backed down from anything. I've admitted what my platform is. I don't shy away from things. So I believe transparency, integrity, being honest and open and having dialogue, even with everybody, because everybody's voice matters in this situation. And you asked about the referendum as well. Is that what it was?
Referendum measures,
Oh, okay,
referendums that
like a
are on the
referendum
ballot.
coming up. Well, it needs to be clear and concise. A lot of these referendums are written to confuse people, and sometimes you don't know which way to go. And that's on purpose. They do that on purpose because they're trying to manipulate it to where they can direct the voters thinking one way and it's the other. So everything just needs to be transparency, honest, open, and have a dialogue, communicate it through however our social media pages, the school pages, to the school teachers, admin, and just basically that. I mean, that's
Chris, you are next. Would you like me to reread?
Sure.
Okay. What principles would guide your communication with the public regarding school district referendum measures, and how would you ensure voters have the information they need to make informed decisions?
That's a great question. So when communicating with our public about our school district referendum, my guiding principles would be transparency, accuracy, fairness, and accountability, hands down. Being on the board of a financial institution, we understand numbers all day long. And with Pasco County's $2.3 billion budget, you have to understand real numbers, and that's in real time. So we have a responsibility now to also educate our public to make sure that these decisions are not designed for political gain and political outcome. Kids don't vote. They're recipients of all things. We got to make sure that they're protected and they're covered in all of our decisions when it comes to the referendums. I also support public workshops, community forums. My office is in Dade City. It's going to stay in Dade City. I've been there now for 5 years, based in Lights, Pasco. I want to make sure the community can reach me. They can touch me. They can come and visit me. We can have these open conversations about everything school board that governs their children in our communities that we serve as a Pasco County School Board member.
Thank you. Kimberly, would you like me to reread, or you good? You're muted.
Similar to what Brian said, I believe in transparency. But what is also important is that the information needs to be clear. It needs to be, as a lawyer, I realize, legalese could be a thing, but I've also learned that, oftentimes that you just need to break it down. So I would clearly explain any such, referendum, what it would fund, how it would impact, taxpayers, how long it would stay in place. Like, similar to the one for compensation. This isn't something that's, new. It's being voted on again. And so the district should use plain language. publish the same factual information from one forum to the next, and hold those public forums, and so, to allow the community to ask the questions that are necessary, and to have actual input before the decision is made. So the goal is not to pressure voters, but to ensure that they understand what they're voting for.
All right, we're getting down to the last two questions, guys. Chris, you are up first for this one. What is your understanding of the school district's procurement process, and what approach would you take to identify potential cost savings without compromising educational quality or student services?
Great question. For me, especially being a vendor, you know, being a vendor, it helps. So, it honestly, there's not much I would change in regards to the procurement services. Because coming from the vendor side, I think Pasco County School does a very great job in that field, in that space. But the policies in itself, making sure that accountability perspective. So make sure we understand transparency, that we're providing that the contracts that we approve, that we understand the community understands what those contracts mean, where they come from, and why they are in effect, right? How that money is being spent. And when it comes to cost savings, it's just making sure we take a fine-tooth comb and we look at all of our options, making sure we're very transparent and not just finalizing or selling on the first bid that comes through, but making sure we're being very competitive and vetting the companies that we choose to contract with as well.
Kim, you are up. Would you like me to reread? Yes? Okay. What is your understanding of the school district's procurement process, and what approach would you take to identify potential cost savings without compromising educational quality or student services?
Okay. My understanding, my understanding, Pasco, like other districts, public, they must be competitive. Like Chris said, transparent and consistent with law and board policy. As a former, having been a recipient of a contract for the sixth largest school district, I understand the bid process and the bid specification. So it includes, competitive pricings, cooperative purchasing agreements, and just long-term plannings. And so we have to make sure that those contracts are not duplicative, meaning that we don't have somebody contracted to do this and then another firm or organization doing that. Doing the same thing. I will also support evaluating the total value, including the quality and the long-term operating costs and the maintenance, rather than just simply on selecting the lowest initial price.
And would you like me to reread?
Yes, ma'am, if you don't mind.
Sure. What is your understanding of the school district's procurement process, and what approach would you take to identify potential cost savings without compromising educational quality or student services?
So it's identifying the needs. Before the school district makes any purchases, we must recognize needs. And that can arise from various factors, such as outdated textbooks, new state mandates, technology advancements, and things like that. And what we do is we talk to the teachers and staff, and because they're the ones on the front lines. They're the ones that know the needs the best. And that's how we support teachers, is just by giving them everything we can do to give them the proper tools to teach. School principals assess the needs, district, and then once we identify the school needs, we must determine whether funding is available, whether it's school budgets typically set up in annual funds allocated based on federal, state, and local revenue sources, grants, just things like that. We also have to understand the different funding sources for Title I's and ESS, or like the special needs and all that stuff. So we just have to return to investment on our students and make sure our students and teachers have all the proper tools, what is needed, and not continue to repeat some of the same things over and over, because there's been
Thank you.
Oh, did the time go off? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
I heard it go off.
Sorry, I dropped the ball on the timer. That was my fault.
Oh,
Oh,
I heard it go off.
I was an
Are you
airman in the
sure?
Navy, so sometimes my hearing might not.
That
No,
was
I heard the timer go off, Teresa.
so.
I'm going to say you did a great job. I don't know.
Hmm.
All right. So for our last question, Kim, you're going to go first, Brian, and then Chris. And then if anybody in the chat, if anybody wants to drop any questions in the chat, if we still have time, we'll answer a few questions if we can. Kim,
And
you're
if you
up.
also need me to answer some of the other ones that I missed too, I can.
Yeah, yes, we'll come back to those.
Awesome. So, Kim, some Pasco schools are overcrowded while others have fewer students and may face closure or consolidation. How do student enrollment, staffing, and class size affect these decisions? And what would guide your approach to planning for the future of the district?
Well, there's uh, overcrowding, and we know in Pasco County, it can be different, on one side, versus the other. And so what, has been happening, like for example, on Lakucha Elementary, that's going to, become a K through 8. I was able to, speak with the principal about that, and she was excited about that option, about the option to follow her students. So, definitely, emerging is an option from there. It's going to appear that how we building more schools, but then we have schools that are under enrolled or declining enrollment, and so that situation is going to look different. But again, we're going to have to look at the data. But I think when, of course, for me, students always come first. It's about keeping the main thing the main thing. So whatever decisions that the district makes, informed decision the district makes, it's got to be about student outcomes, and we got to be willing to get back to the board if it's not working out.
Brian, you're up.
Yes, please repeat. Thank you.
Some Pasco schools are overcrowded while others have fewer students and may face closure or consolidation. How do student enrollment, staffing, and class size affect these decisions? And what would guide your approach to planning for the future of the district?
Well, everything we do should be a case by case approach and case situation. So we want to find out why we're under enrollment, first of all. So what we do is talk to those parents that remove their children and see what we can do to improve enrollment. So that's what we have to do there. That way we can bring them back, hopefully, and understand why they removed them in the first place. Second of all, the teachers were never told that they would have more than 30 students, well, really 25 in their class, but we keep overcrowding in certain schools, and it doesn't make teaching beneficial. Students have a trouble, like there's some student, every student learns differently. And when you put so many people in one room, it's definitely going to be a challenge. And we again, it goes back to supporting teachers. Give them the proper tools, 25 to 30 kids in a class. I kind of forgot some of the other part of the question, but it's really fundamental. We use common sense. We have to use common sense and approach. And I can't remember the rest of the question. Sorry.
Chris, do you want me to reread?
No, we're good. Thank you so
Oh.
much.
Cool.
This question is a definitely a deep one, and it affects our communities to the heart and to the core, because we don't know what's going to happen. That's why partnerships with the county and understand that when they approve a new home development, we have to look at how this affects our community, a new subdivision, new things happening, new road expansions, all these things matter. So as our enrollment shifts, we must evaluate multiple factors, including projected population growth. Those class size requirements, definitely, as Brian said, is an issue. Staffing availability, because you can put the kids in the classroom, but we have the teachers to teach them, right? Transportation impacts, like I stated, the facility conditions, what's the quality of them? Right. Look, there's a school in Moore Mickens in Dade City that's one of our oldest schools that's still there. It's a campus, right? But it's not being used for educational purposes for the district, but they still own the property. So there's still facilities there. So any significant decision should include transparency in process and meaningful input for our parents and our communities. Make sure that they understand exactly what we're doing. And we need to be more proactive than reactive for our district to make sure we can plan for our futures in the success plans. Thank you.
That was the last question, Amy?
Yes.
Okay, so we have, I think Brian missed the first three. So while we do that 3 minutes, I want to ask our attendees, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat. If you have any questions for any of our candidates, and if it's for a specific candidate, please note that. Otherwise, we'll ask them all to wrap up if we don't end up having any questions. So go ahead with Brian's first question.
Okay, Brian. The Florida Constitution legally binds the state to make adequate provision for a uniform, efficient, safe, secure, and high-quality system of free public schools. What is the role of the school board in ensuring this, and where do you think Pasco County schools do this well, and where is there room for improvement?
Well, what we're supposed to do is follow the law and implement the policies and funding direct to the schools where needed. So can you repeat some of that again? Sorry, I blanked on some
I'll
of
do the
that.
question part of it. So what is the role of the school board in ensuring this? And where do you think Hillsborough or Pasco County schools do this well, and where is there room
Gotcha.
for improvement?
Yeah, so I was just saying it's about advocating and following the law, but also our job is to try to be because every school district is community based. Just because the state law says something doesn't mean every community needs that approach. So what our job is to communicate the needs in maybe Zephyr Hills or Pasco or Withlacoochee and advocate like, look, maybe we can have a little more freedom to decide. The board can decide what to do and advocate for because everything is community based and based on a case by case situation of needs. And and I guess that's kind of what you asked. I'll be honest, it was a long question. My bad.
Thank you. We felt like more than one of our candidates felt that way about that question.
Yeah.
All right, number
Question
two.
two.
How should school districts address disparities in resources or opportunities between schools?
Oh, again, everything's kind of the same kind of answer. It's based on a case by case situation and what needs. We should not cut any programs that are working for the students. And I've talked to multiple special needs teachers who said their funding has been cut, and that's ridiculous. We need to get back to funding them and give them the proper tools that they need and looking where we have waste because nobody can say we don't have waste anywhere. And so we need to cut the waste, resupply the funds to where it is needed, and cut programs where is needed, not across the board again, but where is needed. Some programs we don't need. Some programs we do. So we need to fund the proper programs, proper funding. We also need to pay our coaches who have success. There are many coaches who go to the playoffs and still get paid the same as losing coaches. I've talked to coaches who would love to get maybe incentive like our coach Baisley in Lena Lakes, been here 40 years. He should get $100 per a year he served. And that's how we keep coaches and different things like that. Sorry, I went over.
All right, last question. How should districts address concerns about teacher recruitment and retention in Florida?
Oh, by supporting them, giving them the proper respect, hold the students accountable for who is causing the problems in schools, parents, and also again, recognition. Let them know that you have someone on the board that cares and who will stand with them no matter as long as they're doing the right thing. Now, we just can't blindly say, like there's accountability top to bottom. And we need to enforce accountability on students and make sure that they're following the proper. No kid should be, first of all, cussing a teacher out. No kid should be putting their hands on a teacher. And I've seen that plenty as a substitute teacher, and that is wrong. And we need board members who have the spine to stand up for them and to do something about it. Whether in the administration, if they don't do nothing about it, we write them up. We do whatever it takes. Then maybe they shouldn't be in that position because teachers need to be supported. And I'm tired of seeing them be abused.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. So now we have time. I don't see any questions in the chat, so we have time for each candidate to give a 1 minute final thoughts. Amy, who was up next to go first?
Oh, good Lord. Chris, I think.
Chris.
Okay.
Great.
Yep, that was Chris. I think so.
So thank you to the League of Women Voters and everyone who participated today in the forum. I also want to thank my fellow candidates. It's big to step into the into the field to say something. So I applaud both of the candidates that showed up today because presence truly matters and it ways to serve our community. So thank you both for showing up today. This election alone is one thing, but the future of our schools, it means the most in our children. That's what means the most to me. So as a Marine Corps veteran, community educator, and founder of the Gentleman's Course, and someone who hasn't spent years, who has spent years mentoring young people, this is the only thing that I do every day is being present, being available, being reachable, being engaged. I've never quit on Pasco. I've never left Pasco since I got here. So I'm going to make sure that I stay here and I stay supported and I stay able to serve in Pasco County for my teachers, my community, and make sure I'm accountable to all things, make sure I'm reachable and engaged. So thank you for allowing me to be here today. And if elected, I'll make sure everything stays the same.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kimberly, you are up next.
Who is up?
Kimberly.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear it either. So thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today. As I mentioned earlier, I am rooted in Pasco, and my family has been so for generations. So, no matter how life may, move you to and fro, where you're rooted is where you're rooted. So I bring a unique combination of education experience and commitment. I am a former Pasco school guidance counselor, student and family advocate in Pasco schools. I'm an attorney, and I'm also the co-founder of a children's law center where we deal with education and dependency and things of that nature, for those children. I hold a PhD in education management where I did my dissertation on school board leaders in Florida, along with the education specialist and a master's in education. I understand how schools are both this. I understand our schools from both the student side of it, from the guidance side, from the policy, because and the governance side. I am prepared to use that experience to keep students at the center. I am Pasco born, Pasco raised, Pasco educated, and Pasco ready to serve.
All right, Brian, you are up. Are you ready to go?
So as a Pasco native, it's about being present, like other people have mentioned. Why isn't every candidate here? You should not be supporting that person that doesn't show up, because that means that's how they're going to be when it comes to the seat. We have to have transparency, honesty, integrity. You'll get that from me. I've been the most open and honest and transparent candidate. It's about fighting for what is right, doing what is right. I have life experience. Not only have I been subbing and learning, coaching and refereeing, it's about life experience too. What you can bring to the table, being all over the world, being going after your dreams. I was someone that was told I would barely graduate high school because I was in learning disability programs and I'm actually a college graduate. I was a college athlete after the military. And for someone who was told they couldn't do this or that, I want to be able to inspire young men and women to accomplish those things, who are being told, oh, you got this learning disability. You might, but it's about inspiring. Anyway, I know, sorry.
That's
Thank
okay.
You get it going and sometimes it's hard to shut up. Or you're trying to get going.
Thank you all so much for being here. We just want to, again, let everybody who's watching this afterwards or here today remember that early voting in Pasco is from August 8th to the 16th. If you vote early, then nothing can come up last minute that can prevent you from voting. But if you are an election day voter, voting ends August 18th, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is the last opportunity. And for more information on our candidates, League of Women Voters has our election voter guide is live and ready for you to access information on the candidates at vote411.org. Amy, any final thoughts?
Yeah, if you don't see your candidate up there, please remind them to answer the questions that the league sends out, so that they do have. We put exactly what they, exactly how they answer them. So it is nonpartisan information and gives you the best information as far as making your decisions around school board. Make sure you tell all your friends to make sure. July 20th is the last day to register for this, to vote in this election in the August 18th. So make sure, register to vote. Thank you, Teresa, and thank you everybody for participating. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, and thank you for writing down exactly what we put. So we appreciate that. Not everybody does that. So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.